بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. قال الله في كتابه الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Illuminate your hearts and minds with the loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma. Everything in this world should be based on measurements, laws, limits, and boundaries. Everything that there is goes and follows according to the principles of moderation. Whenever we get sick, we might go to the doctor, we might get prescribed supplements. They prescribe for us this amount of supplements once, maybe every single day, 2 times a day, but not more than that and not less. The reason being that there is moderation needed, balance needed in one's supplements. Now, not even that. Water, for example. Water, which is the source of life, we drink it every single day. Though it is necessary and is a necessity for the human consumption, we have limits and boundaries as to how much water a person should take. There is such thing as too much water, and there is such thing as less or a low amount of water consumption. We have been going over a hadith from the Imam Ali alayhi salam where he describes and starts portraying the characteristics of the Shi'as. And we have all gone over this part where he says, وَإِن غَضِبُوا لَمْ يَظْلِمُوا. And if the Shi'as are angered, if they are furious, they don't lash out and they don't portray it in an indecent manner. So, because of this part, we also found that it is appropriate that we bring up the topic of sabr and patience. Now, just as we have said, everything is in need of moderation, balance, and boundaries. And the same goes for sabr as well, patience. One's control, one's limits that they have put on themselves during different occasions, during different parts or places or things that may happen in their lives, to that so that they may be able to control themselves from doing anything that may be indecent or inappropriate. In the verse that was recited in the beginning from Surah Baqarah, the 152nd verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Oh, those who believe, those who have taken faith in the religion of Islam, ista'inu bis sabr. Seek help and comfort with sabr, with patience. Was salat, and prayer. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Surely Allah is with those who are patient, the sabirin. In the different commentations that there may be of this verse. For example, we can say Tafsir Namuna by Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi, or many different ones. They say that over here in this verse, there can be different meanings or definitions of sabr trying to be meant here or mentioned. Some might say that it's sabr against one's anger, ghadab. Some might say it's sabr against one's sadness and sorrows during life, their masa'ib. But even though that all the commentations may have difference in opinion on the definitions and meanings on this, they all come to the conclusion that though sabr is a tool which we all use and gain help, for Allah is among the sabirin, there is also a moderation or balance, boundaries that are needed to be taken with sabr. For example, if I were to be seeing unjust or oppression being done, dhulm, it's not of me to sit and say that because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered me to do sabr, be patient, I should just leave it be anything that might be going on and carry on with my life. But surely in the religion of Islam, dhulm, oppression, unjust is something that whenever a believer passes by, they don't let it just slide. We can even see that in the concept of ghaibats, for example. Ghaibats meaning to talk behind someone's back, bring up contents, bring up different things, mention different contents which might disturb and they might not be comfortable with. These contents which are brought, no matter whether they be good, whether they be bad, when they are brought, the person who is being talked about, they don't like this and they are dissatisfied and in discomfort because of it. So sometimes it might come that one of the believing brothers, one of the brothers that are mu'mineen, have done dhulm to me. Now, not every one of us is perfect. Not every one of us is free from doing wrong things during our lifetimes. And so maybe he has done a mistake. Maybe he was too arrogant for a moment, and he took us and X amounts of money from me, for example. And he didn't give it back to me. He owes me. And so I want to talk with someone who can help me out, for example, with my case. I talked to a lawyer. And I talked how he took money from me. He did it very unjustly, the way he reacted. And showed his attitude towards me whenever I tried to take the money back. In this place, in this scenario, in this case, this is not considered a ghaibat, but instead it is actually told and recommended and honestly ordered to you that you come and complain about this because unjust or dhulm, oppression is being done. Now, just as a note, a side note that should be brought, many times we might see that in our brothers, our believing brothers and sisters, they themselves have this doubt and this lingering conflict that the Quran and the Ahadith are important, but who says we need the Ahadith? The Quran is there for us. Now this is just a side note, something that I feel has to be mentioned. When we look at the tafsir or the commentations of the Quran, which these brothers and sisters themselves accept, we ask them that where do these commentators get their knowledge or where do they get their intel from? Now, if they were to be speaking out of themselves, then who are they to even speak about the Quran? They are humans. They are the most fallible creatures. Us humans are full of mistakes. We can do many wrong things in our lifetimes. And then they might say that no, they get their knowledge and what they get from commentations from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And this is where we come back to the importance that there is in the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. The ahadith are commentations themselves of the Quran and the religion of Islam. Though the Quran may be the most complete word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it comes with prescribers and those who explain it in detail, which are the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And through their ahadith narrations, we learn and come to realization the true meanings that lie behind the Quran. Now, let's get back to our main discussion. The topic concerning us tonight, moderation with sabr. Now, just not only is it recommended and told to us that we should moderate ourselves, control ourselves, limit ourselves, keep boundaries ourselves between sabr and places where we shouldn't be patient. This is also the same thing for those that are very lenient and carefree. The hadith which was mentioned from Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says that those believers, those Shi'as who are true in faith are those that when they are angered, furious, frustrated, they don't lash out and portray it in an indecent manner. But the same is with the opposite. If I'm very happy, if I'm very satisfied with someone, I don't portray this in a way which becomes extravagance and wastage. And the continuation of Imam Ali alayhi salam says, وَإِن رَضُوا لَمْ يَسْرِفُوا. And if our Shias are satisfied, happy, content with one another, they don't overuse and they don't do waste or extravagance in this satisfaction that they might have. Now, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Furqan, the 67th verse, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Illuminate your hearts and minds with a loud salawat ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse and the verses that were preceding this starts portraying and explaining in some details the believers. And he reaches this verse, the 67th verse of Surah Furqan. He says the believers are those that if they are generous, if they are charitable, lam yasrifu. They don't waste and they don't overextend or do excess in this charitable action or this generosity. وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا. And they aren't greedy. So they don't keep everything to themselves. They don't try to take everything away for themselves and keep it away from others. They're not greedy and nor do they waste too much. وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. And between these two characteristics, traits, they are balanced and they are moderated. So we said that the Imam Ali alayhi salam has said that our Shi'as are those that if they are content with each other, satisfied, happy with each other, they don't overuse or show excess in portraying their happiness or gratitude towards the other. In our day and time, now it's true, we can experience and see that whenever someone has done something for you, whether it be big, small, they always try to use it against you whenever they want something for themselves. For example, if someone has given you, for example, $100 in cash, and they helped you out in a certain financial problem during your life, and you see that they have done this out of what you see being portrayed through their appearance, that they're doing this because they have sympathy towards you and they are kind. But later on, they use this against you and say that I gave this person $100, I did this and I did that. And so because this person has done this, I feel obligated, I feel that it is mandatory upon me so that I can help, that I can show my gratitude towards this person in excess amounts and extravagance, wastage. The Imam Ali alayhi salam says this is far from the fact. Our Shi'as are those that if they are content with each other, they are satisfied with each other, they don't do excess amount of showing or portraying their gratitude and thankfulness. If someone were to help me in any way, it's of course I have to thank them, I have to be grateful towards them. I have to show a type of attitude or behavior towards them that is respectable and a kind of result in what they have done for me. But it is not okay for me just because this person, a certain person has done this for me, that I show it even more and in such a way that I have no limits and no boundaries. Israf, if we look in the dictionary of the Arabic language, it literally can come to the meaning of being excess amounts or extravagance in doing something, wastage. And so israf basically means to pass the boundaries and limits that there are for something and to portray it with an uncontrollable and an unlimited amount. And so the Imam Ali alayhi salam, as we have said, says that our Shias are those that if they are content with each other, satisfied, they don't do extravagance and wastage. Now, as we see in the verse that was recited in the Surah Furqan, the 67th verse, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that our Shias, that those that if they do charity, they don't do excess, and they are not greedy, and they are balanced between these two. We can see that one person shouldn't be contempt and define themselves as being on one side, but balanced and moderated between the two. As we say in the Farsi language, the Persian language, ifrat and tafrit, being too much or being too less. Balance between each other. Be moderate. And in a hadith from Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam, he says, "Inna lis-sakha'i miqdaran fa in zada alayhi fa huwa sarf." For a person who is generous, a charitable person, there is a limit, there is a boundary that they can portray and show this thankfulness, generosity, or charitableness. And if they pass this amount, this is not being generous, it's not being charitable, but the exact opposite. Instead of using using your money, using what you have for the way of Allah, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, so I can help the poor, I use an excess amount. And Imam Hassan alayhi salam says that if you were to do this, instead of it being helpful, instead of it being charitable, this is a waste. What you're doing is nothing but waste. May Allah inshaAllah give us the success, tawfiq of being among the true Shias of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and may we all be alim and amil to the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammadin